A shark with little legs wearing sneakers. Atonally singing about pooping on your grandma in Italian. A bizarre fusion of crocodile and plane that loves committing horrific war crimes. A bug-eyed stick of wood inexplicably instigating a Muslim call to prayer. What are kids watching on the internet these days? When they're not seeing what saw-trapped Mr. Beast is creating this week, or screaming 6-7 like a gang of demonic cultists, one of the weirdest things that kids online are being exposed to these days is something informally known as Italian Brainrot. And don't let how incredibly stupid it looks or sounds fool you. Under the surface, there's actually something insanely sinister chugging away. And even scarier, it might already be too late to stop it. So first things first, what are these weird nonsensical characters that seem to be everywhere, from Roblox to TikTok to slop YouTubers dubbed in from Russian like a freaky interdimensional blippy? So we won't waste your time on this, we'll just cut to the chase and say they're all made by generative AI. That's right, in addition to allegedly increasing shareholder value by solving vague problems that nobody can quite ever explain, it's also perfect for boiling the brains of Generation Alpha in their soft little skulls. And because everything we tell you about today is just gonna sound vaguely dumb, even though it's true, we regret to inform you that this all started with Black Adam himself, Dwayne "The Meme" Johnson. Back in October of 2023, people with incredibly unique senses of humor decided to create various pseudo-Italian memes of Dwayne Johnson. Set to Tupac's time back, Johnson would say different phrases, some in actual Italian, where he claims to poop even in the afterlife, and others in bizarre, vaguely Italian-sounding nonsense like tralalero tralala. This specific nonsense would actually go on to inspire the name of what many consider to be the first ever Italian Brainrot character, the scatological sneaker shark known as Tralalero Tralala. More on him soon, regrettably. This weird little shark hit TikTok in various forms in early 2025, where it was accompanied by text-to-speech audio singing awkwardly in Italian. The shark stood on a beach in that ugly, overly glossy AI style, the waves lapping up behind him, and every so often a tiny explosion sound effect was repeated, just to make sure that he didn't lose any of the attention of the audience, whose minds have been turned into melted ice cream by TikTok abuse. With shocking speed, lore began to build up around this stupid little shark. According to his page on the official Italian Brainrot wiki, yes, that is a thing, quote, Tralalero tralala does not speak, instead dances and vibes. He is often playful but aggressive in battles. We know what you're thinking. Wait, it battles? What is this thing battling? Other than, of course, the mental development of some of the youngest and most vulnerable members of the human race. Like Pokemon from hell, there are a huge number of popular Brainrot characters, and even more that only their creator and a handful of others know about. Seriously, there are hundreds of these things from myriad countries all over the world, and it seems the only barrier to entry is just signing up to any one of the countless terrible generative AI services across the web. Only a handful of these prime pieces have been able to float to the top of the slop pile and break containment into something resembling mainstream. And yes, there are a lot of debates about them fighting and who would win in these fights. There are also a lot of terrible videos on YouTube and other platforms that depict scenarios where they battle. Yes, humanity is doomed. And yes, we deserve it. But why are we being so histrionic about all this? Kids have said, done, and enjoyed dumb, brainless entertainment since the beginning of our species. So what really makes this any different? And this is where it's worth digging into the bizarre undertones. Take our dear friend Tralalero Tralala, the shark with the sneakers. If we gave you a full uncensored play-by-play of the lyrics in his text-to-speech song, the video would be instantly nuked off of YouTube. But just to give you the cliff notes, after damning the gods of both Christianity and Islam, it tells the story of the narrator and his son's visit to the home of their arch-enemy, Burger. And what follows is violence, excessive amounts of excrement, violence, sex crimes, and castration. You know, the normal stuff that 3-year-olds on TikTok should be exposed to. And that original video had over 7 million views before being taken down for not following TikTok's terms of service. But Tralalero Tralala seems like a humanitarian compared to Bombardio Crocodilo, the fusion of crocodile and bomber plane. Like all Italian Brainrot characters, there is a confusing amount of lore about this absurd character. He has been killed 3 times, but he seems to be able to resurrect each time. He was a part of an event called the Croco-Avian Wars, where crocodiles and birds fought for supremacy of the skies. In the course of the Second War, he was forced to assassinate his own brother, Bombombini Gusini, a goose mixed with a fighter jet. Bombardiro Crocodilo himself was ultimately taken down by his enemies, Bra Bra Patapim, a polyp-nosed money tree hybrid with enormous veiny feet, and Ranta Santa Chinaranta, a Canadian brainrot creature made of burning maple leaves. Bombardiro Crocodilo is described as being weaker than Escopeto Mauini, a fusion of a cat and a McChicken burger standing in the desert and wielding a pump-action shotgun, but is nonetheless still extremely strong. His greatest rivals are the aforementioned Tralalero Tralala and Nuclearo Dinosauro. The latter is described as a fictional, heavily militarized cybernetic dinosaur depicted as a flying, nuclear-capable creature combining features of prehistoric fauna, advanced robotics, and modern aerial warfare. Can you feel yourself getting dumber just by listening to this? Bombardiro Crocodilo is widely considered to be one of the more popular Italian brainrot characters, consistently ranking high on fan-created popularity polls. He's also one of the most controversial. When his song is translated, it describes his love for bombs and his glee at bombing children in the Middle East. Before insulting you for bothering to translate the text, stay classy, Italian brainrot. On this endless hellscape that we call the internet, you might be familiar with the phrase, "just kidding, unless," normally invoked in a purposefully joking way after an awkward attempt at flirting. This phrase is also the most compact way that we can think to describe the irony shield. This is a rhetorical technique often used by groups and people with sinister intentions, looking to get extremist views across in a low-risk way by couching it in a joke. There are a lot of benefits to using this technique if you're looking to fly under the radar. You can espouse a dangerous or hateful view publicly and find agreement in like-minded individuals. But if you get called out, you can just easily retreat and say, "It's just a dark joke. Nobody should take what you're saying seriously." That's the power of the irony shield. You can simultaneously mean and not mean what you're saying, depending on the observer. And this is exactly what critics of the darker Italian brainrot characters accuse them of doing, using the absurdity of brainrot visuals and over-the-top insanity to express legitimately cruel or hateful views to young and impressionable viewers across the internet. Kids who aren't old or media literate enough to really parse the context of what they're seeing. This is what many think of as the true rot in the Italian brainrot. And it's also important to remember that we are not talking about lone weirdos trading rare pepes in the underbelly of 4chan. Italian brainrot has been spreading its dark tendrils all across the internet and pop culture out in the world at large. Unsurprisingly, NFT guys were all over this thing, minting multiple tokens of the various hideous characters. And since where the NFT guys go, general crypto bros are never far behind, it didn't take long for the characters to inspire some extremely volatile meme coins. The most well-known being one simply called Italian Rot. Brands smelled meme blood in the water, of course, so multiple posts were made trying to piggyback off the trend. Probably the most infamous one is by KFC Spain, which made a mock-up of several Italian brainrot-inspired toys that would come sold with their special Italian brainrot meal. Italian newsstands started selling schifero Italian brainrot trading card games, hoping to cash in on the trend. Many younger audience members in the English-speaking world became aware of the phenomenon from the Steal a Brainrot Roblox game, which is well known enough for it to have its own Wikipedia page. You can also buy plastic and plush toys of the characters from massive retailers like Amazon and Walmart, so you can't escape them there either. In one particularly weird case, Viktor Orbán of Hungary, considered a dictator by multiple human rights groups, posted a TikTok where Tung 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 Sahur, more on him soon, is dancing in the middle of a government meeting. Does anybody else miss life when it wasn't quite so stupid? And despite being known holistically as Italian brainrot, some of its most famous characters aren't even actually Italian. We're now returning, of course, to the iconic Indonesian character Tung 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 Sahur, mayor of the uncanny valley with his terrifyingly blank staring eyes. His full name is actually, we kid you not, Tung 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 Sahur. Within the surreal and nonsensical lore of the wider brainrot verse, Tung 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 Sahur is part of a species known as tungsten, not to be confused with the metal. These are living wooden patrol drums with staring eyes and vacant smiles, most often seen wielding baseball bats. Good old Triple T inexplicably became a huge hit online. While this guy isn't weird and mean-spirited like the shark and the crocodile, understanding his bit requires a weirdly large insight into Indonesian culture. The tung 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 part is an onomatopoeia, mimicking the sound of a drum being beaten. The sahur part refers to the pre-dawn meal eaten on the first day of Ramadan by Indonesian Muslims. It's traditionally announced by the rhythmic beating of a wooden slit drum called a kentongan. His song, while definitely a little weird and creepy, is thankfully nowhere near as extreme as the ones from the other characters we discussed. Translated into English, his simply reads tung 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 sahur, a terrifying anomaly that appears during sahur. It is said that if someone is called for sahur 3 times and does not answer, then this creature will come to your house. Ah, how scary! It goes on, but honestly, we're doing you a favor. According to the lore surrounding this bizarre, grinning piece of AI-generated wood, if you ignore the call to sahur after the drum sounds, tung 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 sahur will come for you. And if you drink enough lead-based paint on a daily basis, all of this almost starts to make sense. Haven't we all been invested in the complicated inner workings of weirdly stupid things at least one point in our lives? Though he's not the most opaque of the Indonesian brainrot characters, that honor would probably go to a character called Udin Din 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 Dun Ma Din 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 Dun, who we're just gonna call Orange Guy. That name is a nightmare to say out loud. And that's because this brainrot character is an orange with human facial features, sporting freakishly ripped arms and legs. Think the annoying orange from the 2000s if he started abusing anabolic steroids. An interesting trend seems to be that the Indonesian brainrot characters are generally a lot more innocent in their actual content than the Italian ones, which tend to skew a little edgy. Orange Guy's song translated to an orange-like figure that has eyes and a mouth. He used to be an ordinary human, but after frequently swallowing orange seeds, he eventually transformed into Udin Din Din Orange. Before anyone accuses us of taking bribes from the Indonesian brainrot mafia, we should clarify that not all of Europe's favorite boots' brainrot exports are offensive or mean-spirited. The best example might be the coffee couple themselves, Ballerina Cappuccina and her husband, Cappuccino Assassino. Okay, let's brain this down before all of our brains start dribbling out of our ears in liquid form. First, Ballerina Cappuccina, a ballerina with a mug of cappuccino for a head, with a glossy AI take on a human face printed onto it. She is extremely popular, with her most well-known video on TikTok having over 50 million views, a number that makes us want to go live up in a cave on a mountain and never return. She's become so popular that a clip from her song was even used by one of the least funny men in America, Jimmy Fallon, in a promo for the Ballerina the John Wick spinoff. Then there's Cappuccino Assassino. He's a portable coffee cup wearing a Naruto-style forehead protector and a katana in each hand. His iconic song talks of his legendary prowess in the dark art of assassination and subterfuge, saying, "This stealthy killer infiltrates enemies at night. Beware, coffee hater. If you don't drink a cup of cappuccino in the morning, you better not cross paths with this guy." We hope you're proud of yourself. You just watched the only educational video that actually leaves you knowing less than when you started. Italian brainrot might seem like just another online fad, but it's a part of a much bigger problem. Watch why brainrot will doom Gen Alpha to see how internet culture is reshaping an entire generation. Or click on this video instead.